I know what you're thinking. There is no way we are talking about a Terry McLaurin trade to the Denver Broncos. But we are. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. It's exactly what we're diving into today because Fox Sports listed Terry McLaurin as a trade destination for the Broncos. And initially, I was not going to make this video. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. There was no shot I thought this was even going to be a landing spot for Terry McLaurin. But when Fox Sports comes out and starts to kind of divulge why they believe he'd be a good fit in Mile High, I kind of had to do my due diligence. And I'm not just pulling this out of my ass, right? Like I mentioned to you that Fox Sports was on this, but Athlon Sports and Yahoo Sports were both on this as well, listing the Broncos as a trade destination for Terry McLaurin. So I had to do my homework. I had to start to deep dive into everything, and I found out some very interesting information. Some will infuriate you. Some might make you a little bit optimistic. Before we dive into Terry McLaurin and the Broncos trade rumors, you have got to do me a huge favor. We have updated sub numbers for you. We smashed the June 2024 sub numbers. We are currently at 847, which beat May of 2025 numbers. We are this close to beating our March subscriber numbers of 902. So I need a bunch of loyal Broncos fans who love Broncos content to hit that subscribe button, lock us in for free Broncos content all year long. Let's get into the article. Fox Sports. McLaurin would be a welcomed addition to Denver's receiving room and help alleviate the reliance that the franchise has put on young receivers to all pan out. A scenario exists where Nix could have a sluggish year two. I disagree with that. After putting a lot of impressive plays on film in year one. Take a look at Dak Prescott in 2017 and C.J. Stroud in 2024. Both went through the sophomore slump. If that indeed takes place, having an improved pass-catching core around Nix can help offset the potential downtick in production. With McLaurin, one knows exactly what they're getting, a steady and durable downfield weapon who can shoulder the bulk of secondary's attention. So they did name 4 teams in this article that they call or consider the highest possibility for trade destinations. The Cardinals, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the New England Patriots being the most likely, considering they have the most cap space and the biggest need for a player of his caliber. I personally believe this only works for the Broncos in a McLaurin-Sutton combo. You cannot give up Courtland Sutton in order to obtain Terry McLaurin. They're almost the exact same player, and I'll touch on that here in just a little bit. There's no shot in hell this works if you have to give up one for the other. But there is one thing I'll give the article credit for. Terry McLaurin has been the picture and the model of consistency since he joined the league. He plays in every game almost every season. There's no injury history. And every single year is almost a copy-paste of the year prior. Just look at it. 77, 77, 79, and 82. You could actually make the argument that he's getting slightly better. But, I mean, I look at this and I laugh because I'm like, we have an almost identical piece to Terry McLaurin in Courtland Sutton. Like I said, we'll touch on here in just a second, but he has been the model of consistency. There's no doubt about it. He is an unbelievable wide receiver, and he absolutely deserves to get paid. That's where all of this comes into consideration. The Commanders don't want to pay him $30 million a year. Just a little more of a deep dive for you, by the way, on Terry McLaurin's advanced stats. PFF came out with this, and he said 10 touchdowns in 2024 in single coverage, which, by the way, number 1 in the NFL, and a 135.3 passer rating when targeted, which is also first in the NFL. So when it comes to getting open and being targeted, Terry McLaurin is quite literally one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. But as I previously mentioned, what's the difference between these two? Please tell me. Tell me the difference right now, and I'll give you $100. 1,096 to 1,081. He had 15 more receiving yards. Sutton had 5 less touchdowns, so that's one of the areas that I will give McLaurin the slight uptick. But Sutton had more 20-plus plays and more targets. And both had a rookie quarterback. This is almost literally the exact same player. Now, Fox, of course, had to list their trade idea, which I think is outlandish. This is probably one of the stupidest trade ideas I've ever seen. It's easily in the top 5. So the Commanders get Courtland Sutton in the Fox trade idea. This isn't mine. John Franklin Myers and a 2026 fourth-round pick for Terry McLaurin. That would be the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals. Now, of course, I don't want to be that guy that is like, oh my God, you can't trust anything you read on the internet. Obviously, there are some valued trade reports, and this clearly isn't one of them. So it's an awful trade idea. And then I started to think, well, I have to give my trade idea at least. And this is the highest that I'd be willing to go for Terry McLaurin. I'd give up JFM and a 2026 fifth. That's it. I wouldn't go a single draft pick higher. Because what you're essentially telling me is that what you would give up for Courtland Sutton is less than what you would give up for Terry McLaurin. And McLaurin's the same player. And here's why I think a trade scenario actually could work in favor for the Broncos. The Commanders already have a number 1 wide receiver, Deebo Samuel. They traded for him. So you don't need Terry McLaurin. And I realize Deebo plays a different style of wide receiver, right? Like he plays that kind of hybrid tailback position. But listen, if you gave up T-Mac and gave them or gained a John Franklin Myers in return, if you're the Commanders, you could make it work, especially with Jaden Daniels. It's not preferred, but it could absolutely, be a possibility. This doesn't work for the Broncos whatsoever if you go with Fox's trade idea. So I'll ask you, would you welcome a Terry McLaurin trade? Yes or no? I say yes, but there's an asterisk there, and I'm saying only if there's a combo of T-Mac and Sutton. Could you imagine basically 2 Courtland Suttons on the team? That would go crazy. Now, the second half of this video, I want to kind of address what it would cost to get T-Mac. And this is where the Broncos really do hit a bump in the road. It's not really necessarily about fit because T-Mac can fit anywhere. But the money it's kind of an issue. Now, before we get into that, guys, the 4th right around the corner. And if you need 4th of July and Broncos gear, I found the perfect combo for you. Use this link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video, or go to chatsports.com/4th. It's only $29.99. Perfect for your 4th of July celebration, wherever that may be. Mine's going to be out in the backyard doing some grilling, and I'm thinking I might just buy this myself. Again, one more time, made it super simple for you. Click on the link in the comments and description of today's video and start shopping today. So let's look at the highest paid wide receivers. Terry McLaurin made it known he wants $30 million a year, which would put him right alongside Tyreek Hill and right alongside Brandon Ayuk. And he's going to get that money. If not from Washington, it's going to get it from somewhere. And it's a non-negotiable. Like, he won't go a single cent lower. He's already made it very clear. He believes that what he's been able to do in the NFL has warranted him a $30 million a year contract based off of NFL wide receiver salaries. He's absolutely right. Now, I don't even think it's crazy that he's not asking for top-of-the-line money, considering how reliable and available he's been. And could you imagine, just one more time, if you slid Terry McLaurin in as that wide receiver 2 spot, or hell, even Courtland Sutton to the wide receiver 2 spot, because it would most likely be 1 and 1A. It wouldn't be, wide receiver 1, clear gap, wide receiver 2. I think it would go absolutely bananas. And you probably have to give up either a Troy Franklin or a Devon Vele in some capacity in order to receive him. But here's what I alluded to before. The Broncos don't have enough cap space to make this move right now. You would have to give up significant assets on your team already in order to acquire Terry McLaurin. They only have $15.18 million in cap space right now. McLaurin's going to be worth $30 million a year. It doesn't work. The math ain't mathin'. So, final thoughts on this. It would be a really fun idea, but you'd have to give up way too much to give up T-Mac. You'd have to give up draft compensation. You'd have to release some players or trade some players. And ultimately, I like the thought of having them both on the same team because it would be electric. It would be so much fun to watch. And Terry McLaurin, like I said, is a great player. But the truth is, you don't really need him at this point because you've already got Terry McLaurin. His name's Courtland Sutton. They're like brothers. All right, before we end today's show, reminder, almost beating the March 2025 numbers, which is incredible considering March is the free agency period in the NFL. So do me a favor, if you haven't already, click the sub button. I greatly appreciate it. We all do here at the Broncos Breakdown. And follow me on Twitter or Instagram if you want. I made it easy for you as well. Have the same handle for both of those social media pages, and it can also be found in the comments and description of today's video. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool.